Hey, good morning, and welcome to another episode of the Fueled Live podcast, where our intention is to bring you not just information, but implementation tools and practices that you can bring into your life each day or each week, each segment. And as you add these elements, begin to notice what's going on in your body. What are you feeling? What are you thinking? How is your energy level? And you know, a lot of us have these days, and when I say a lot of us, I work with a lot of clients, and I hear this verbiage, this experience that they've just been kind of sluggish. They've just noticed that they don't have the energy about mid morning, noon. It just like crashes. And my question is, and this is what we're going to talk about today, is what is it that you're eating that might be eating up your energy and your time and draining you rather than fueling you, like what we're talking about? I'm joined again with my co host and partner in crime to have a fueled life, Charlie Collins. Charlie, how are you today? And glad you're here, bud.
I'm doing well, thank you. And I love what you said, Stanley, that what are you eating that's eating your energy? And that's like, huh? I'm eating because I have a hunger pain or I'm feeling a little sluggish that 2 to 3 in the afternoon because you eat lunch and you get that fuel again. But it's really fancied or it's fake fuel, but it's real, but it's not what the body needs to continue giving you fuel. So I feel really good after lunch, unless I ate at like some fast food place and my head's bouncing off the desk. But and then all of a sudden it's like that power is gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I wish I had a V8. Now, then you think, what do I do? Do I bang down a Red Bull? Do I take a nap? Do I have a Snickers, some chocolate, and do the things? Because I've heard that stuff all is a good pick me up. And then the thing that in your body that's eating your energy, cells and different things, when we pour that in us, that it says, what are you doing to us? And it's going to give you the energy. Because Stanley, it's like, in a way, like drugs. Could be, cocaine doesn't last all day. You have to keep doing it. Ultra processed food does not last all day. You got to keep hitting it because it is providing your energy, not your body. And healthy eating activates the body that already has the energy in it.
Exactly. That's the key is, you talk about these drinks and these energy drinks and certain chocolates and foods and whatnot. And hey, I'm a chocolate lover as long as it's a good chocolate. I love chocolate, dark chocolate especially. But if my energy is coming from that and it gives me that boost, when my body regulates again, now it goes into a hyper regulation, and that's where I feel like sluggish, or I feel heavy, or I feel like I need another dose. And it is that kind of that dopamine fix for our body's energy. Whereas, a lot of times we get dopamine fixes when somebody gives us a heart or they give us a like on social media, they make a nice comment. But the food that we're bringing in is similar to that. If we get a bad comment, we will navigate towards that bad comment over and over, aside from the 100 positive comments. Well, it's the same way with food. We can have one negative food and it pulls away from the energy that we get from the other foods. So if we're adding or contributing to that, let's say, you can't just stop at one chip, or you're in a rush and you go through the drive-through and you just feel heavy, you just feel bogged down or tired or sluggish. It's the thing that's happening is our energy is getting sucked out by the food that our body's trying to process, but it's already over processed. And our body can't do anything with it because there's nothing there. There's no nutrition for our body to energize for the energy that it needs to process the foods that we're eating.
When I was new learning about health and all, if somebody had said to me, "What you're eating does not produce," I would be like, "I don't get it. It's what I'm told. It's what the package says. It's what the media says. It's what the grocery store says. It's what healthy heart symbol it has." So you're telling me that everything I've been doing, and I don't mean everything, but most, is what is, it's not my age, it's not whatever it is, the fact that I'm eating food that I don't know if I believe you. It's like, how could that be? That is ridiculous. You're taking the entire thing I know and just flipping it right over, saying it's all wrong, and that's not our intention. And that's what we, because then they want us to get confused.
Right.
So once you think that, and you're like, well, then I have no idea what to do, I can't eat. And it's like, I guess I'm just going to die, because I'm going to die either way. Might as well die hungry. And, and that's not the truth. It starts with steps and little bits. And, it just starts implementing new things into our lives. And Stanley, I was an energy vampire. I was consuming and trying to find more energy. But also, when I got into that state,
Mhm.
that state was restless, a little irritable, discontented. It was blamer, a little bit of complaining, making excuses. Like, I wasn't on my game mentally either.
Right.
So now I'm not on my game mentally. I'm not on my game physically. And I walk in a room and somebody in there better make me feel better, because I have lost control. Like, and I don't know I have.
Right.
You know what I mean? Until I meet someone like you or I, and starts helping me day by day rebuild the body and the mind together.
Yeah. And the thing of it is that we've been doing this for a little while. So I didn't know what I didn't know when I was practicing what I had been indoctrinated into, or what I had adopted as, hey, it is the common practice, so it must be normal. But what I discovered is, although it's a common practice, it's not normal, because our body was not made to process the foods that are already hyper, super over processed, and all the sugars that are inside the foods. People will tell me about pain that they're having in their body, and I'll ask, what it was it that you ate in that 24-hour period prior to that pain setting on? And they'll start to list things that they didn't even think about. Well, they're listing.
Looks like our friend Stanley there. He's got, let me look closer. Almost like he's saluting, but he is frozen on the screen, and he will come back in a moment because we're live.
And I'm
There he
back in
is.
the moment. I'm back in the moment. So what happens is that our bodies basically do just that, just like the internet. When there is too much going on with the upload and the download, it freezes up. Now, I think my computer, I think everything's running properly, but I get this little symbol across the top that says, oops, you lost connection. And this is what's happening in our body, but it's so subtle, it's so quick that we don't notice it, because there's not a banner that comes up in our body that says, hey, you gave me bad food. So since you can't read this, I'm just going to make you feel sluggish, and I'm going to make you feel tired and fatigued, and I'm going to make you feel agitated, so that everybody that you see today is going to find your last nerve. Just when you thought you knew it, they're going to find the next one, because the food that you're bringing in is not giving me the energy I need to process, to think, and to operate.
And Stanley, the body is sending banners all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, inflammation, sluggishness. Walk into a room and, like, I have no idea why I'm in here. Might as well eat.
Right.
But stuff like that. And you said, and it's like, oops, you've lost connection. That's an energy vampire.
Yes, it is.
Whoever wrote oops, it's not oops. It's like, this sucks. Oops. That's because the company that sent you that wasn't the reason for you losing the connection. And let's be honest, you live in the woods. So all four of you using the internet, it's just hard for you to get it. So you've made the best of what. So if you live in a food desert, or you live in an area where, gosh, here's the deal. Food's up like 25%. So if I'm looking at buying those pasture organic eggs as opposed to the cheapest, they look the same, they're white and they're in shells. I might, because of the prices are also dictating, and there's a lot more illness out there since the pandemic. I don't even like saying that. Since COVID happened, people have not recovered. Some people got really healthy during that time.
They did.
And because they said, now I have the time, which they always had, but we're not going to talk about that model yet. But anyway, I'm noticing it more and more around me. It's a slow burner. It's eating that handful of pretzels every day. It doesn't hurt. It feels good, tastes good. You maybe get a little salt, you get a little buzz, there's some sugar in it, and it feels good. It took away that hunger, like that feeling, oh my God, 2.5 more hours to dinner. When I have those pretzels. And even you could even get buttered flavored pretzels. And Stanley, you said also the chips, you can't eat one. And I just want to, notice everyone knows what 3D printing is. So on a computer, I can design a new kind of headphones, right? Oh, my cable's not long enough. I could design a new pair of headphones. I could design it on my computer and then hit a button, and out of a 3D printer comes my new. Now, they don't have the electronics in it or anything, but here they are. Well, that's what they do in the ultra processed food world.
Right.
They don't go to the ground, pull out food, and then package it. They go to computers and chemicals and ingredients, and they combine them and then 3D print them in a way. It's not food. I guess you're locked up again. Yeah, he is. So that's okay. I don't mind talking, Stanley. I have the energy. And I've also noticed you said energy vampire. Energy vampire. I kept thinking about that. Like, what is a vampire? Like, they probably not someone you want to be in a room with in the dark, but just somebody that brings negative energy, brings doom and gloom, brings a path that doesn't support us. So we don't want to be around people or foods or things that are taking away from our bodies, our minds. And there's another term. It's a toxic vampire. And those are people that, when you're in a room, when they come in, you're like, oh boy. And oh God, you wouldn't believe what happened to me today. And oh, this idiot. And they just, bleh. And they're always talking about what's wrong and not working. Now, okay. But again, if that person said, listen, I am miserable, I need to hire you to help me. I understand that you can help me go from where I am to what's possible. I could move from frustration to a life of freedom. And where do we start? And I could never say, just think more positive. Right. Because your conditioned thinking, your programs, your habitual way is the negative way. And that's what you're used to. So, I would start right away and say, how are you sleeping? What do you eat? And how much water do you drink? Yeah. And do you walk every day or do something to love your body? And it's amazing. None of them are doing that. They're like, no. I mean, like, yeah, I eat. Yeah, I had a burger From where?
Right.
And what? I had it from Wendy's. Oh, you had the prime cut? It's prime, all right. So, I mean, there's so much to unpack when I start working with somebody. But I said, listen, you don't have to change anything for the first week. Just know that I'm collecting data so
That's
I
it.
can best serve you. So this is what I need you. This is your homework all week. Document what you eat, how
Right.
much sleep you got every night. If you don't have a wearable, get one immediately. I believe that this has helped me immensely. And then I know it has effects, but so does everything almost these days. This is really good. Well, water doesn't. Except, water doesn't have a side effect. So anyway, I have them document, Stanley, and then I have them bring that to me or her, and then say, okay, I was getting 6 hours of sleep, and then with the tracker, they'll say 1 hour of REM, 3 hours of light. It's like, yeah, that's not good sleep, but
Right.
anyway. And then we talk about, when do you drink water and how do you stretch and do a little exercise? No. Okay. Could you walk to the mailbox 3 times? So we start like that. But the first week, I don't start anything but data collection. And then I go, oh my God, we're going to have to extend this coaching package another 6 months.
Yeah. And one of the questions is that we've been indoctrinated into this overly processed, highly processed food environment. And it's just become part of our environment. And the more that you see things, the more that you normalize it. And what I want to encourage is that as you, like you said, Charlie, collect your data, have an understanding of where you're at, what you're doing, what you're experiencing, and then begin to monitor what it is that you're bringing into your body, what type of food you're bringing in. So are they fresh vegetables? Are they lean proteins? Are they healthy fats? One of the things that I absolutely love and adore is that my granddaughters love avocados and they love guacamole. And I know what that's doing for their brain. That's a healthy fat and it's super, super brain food. When you're bringing in these leafy greens, they love salads. So they see Papa eating a salad and they're like, hey, can I have some salad? I'm like, I'm pulling it off my plate immediately, putting it on their plate. They love salmon. I love that they love salmon. And when we start to bring these things in and we make them our normal, now our palate, our taste buds actually waking up, and we start to absorb. Now you can't just eat a healthy meal on Monday in the first month of the year and then not have anything good the rest of the month and say, well, this isn't working. It's going to take a few days, and actually it could take up a couple of weeks for your body to rid itself of the collected toxins that are in your system. And yes, you can carry collective toxins for a long time. So understanding what kind of water you're getting, what kind of foods you're getting, wild caught fish, these kind of foods and vegetables. If you can get it organic, if you can get it from the farmer's market, these are going to be your best bet because they're not laden with a bunch of pesticides or herbicides or over processing or coloring that's put on them. So drinking plenty of water, staying energized, these are the things that are going to bring good fuel to your body so that you can, you don't have to wear a necklace of garlic to get rid of these vampires. You can actually eat the garlic, okay? And you can buy fermented garlic, but you can get these healthier foods into your body and create this fuel.
Also, Costco's another, and you can buy frozen big bags of frozen vegetables organic
Oh,
because
yeah.
the process is freeze. It's not let me sit out, let me hang on to them for a week and then freeze. I mean, they process. That's the process. When you buy a bag of vegetables, they don't throw salt in there. They don't do anything except prepare them, wash them, freeze them, put them in a bag. So that is considered processed food. because it has to go through a process. And then you do more processing when you get home. You unbag it. You then hopefully don't put cheddar cheese and butter. Well, butter a little wouldn't be bad, but when you're cooking it in canola oil, and then no, you got to know. And Stanley, 2 weeks. I did a 6-week program in the beginning, and it hurt. But I planted a flag in the ground. Okay.
Yeah.
I came to a podcast like that. There was no podcast back then, but I went to a seminar and 2 men stood up on there and they talked about their journey with health and nutrition. And I'm like, what the heck I did not come here to learn this stuff. I want to make more money.
Right.
And one of the things they said, wouldn't you making more money and enjoying it, giving it away, and not be stressed? Would you like that? I'm like, well, yeah, that's why I want to make more money. They said, you'll never have that without health.
Right.
And I'm like, huh. So after that, I planted a flag in the ground. Okay. And I started a program with accountability. I followed the program almost to the T, because you said something. I'm going to eat I'm going to eat Monday, Wednesday, and Friday healthy. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and Sunday. I mean, the weekend, give me a break, Stan. You're an awfully mean guy. I think I'm going to do that over the weekend. So I'm going to listen to Stanley as his student. I'm going to get inspired by what he's taught me, but then I'm going to implement my plan, the one that's been killing me. But I'm going to sprinkle some of Stanley in there. And then after 2 weeks, I'm not feeling much different. And I'm like, Stan, you're fired. Right. And you're like, well, what were your actions? And we're not here to judge. We're not here to say you're bad, because it isn't easy. You have a way of doing things, and you're going up against that. And it's possible. So I did a 6-week program, Stanley, and I didn't feel much different the first couple weeks. But by the 3rd week, my joints were starting to hurt bad. And I'm like, I would walk to work in pain purposely to move my body. And then it's like, I almost gave up. I'm like, I don't get it, because I gave up nicotine, caffeine, sugar, all at once. And that's like, whoa, dude, I should have went to rehab. And by the end of the 4th week, 5th week, it lifted. And I was one of the ladies at my work after it was 6 weeks, so maybe another 4 weeks after that. I was coming in every day walking. It's winter, it's snowing. I'm bubbling, positive. I'm kind to the day. I'm serving the customers better. The girl is like, what are you doing? Right. My employee said, what are you doing these days? You are vibrant. You're thriving. And she didn't say it, but that vampire you used to come to work with, he hasn't been around. And I said, oh, well, let me tell you more. So I didn't walk in there and say, everyone has to do this because you'll all feel better and I'll get more out of you. That wasn't. So that's what you've done to your grandchildren too. They see Papa eating, acting, and being a certain way on the ground with them playing. And they don't say, geez, when I'm 60 plus, I'm not saying any plus there, but I want to have the vitality and energy as my Papa does. But the universe is showing them.
Exactly. And that's it. If you want what you don't have, you have to do what you're not doing. And when I say you have to, that is your choice. It's if you want the result, this is the process. This is the step. And you can't miss the steps. You can't skip a flight of stairs. It's not like 1, 2, skip a few, 15, 16, skip a few, 35, 36. It doesn't work that way. It is a process. And it took you a good number of days or years or months to get in the condition that you're in. Be gentle on your body and know that the process is getting rid of what's not serving you. And it's like a spoiled child. If it's not serving you, you send it to another room. You what you're doing here is you're sending it to a different universe. You're getting it out of your body and you're bringing in healthy foods that bring you healthy fuel that give you the result that you are desiring. And accountability, like you said, Charlie, you know, it's so easy when we're by ourselves because our mind plays. We've got this good angel and we've got the, oh, let's just call it the higher self and the lower self. And the lower self tells you, hey, nobody's going to know. Just go ahead and have it. You know how much pleasure you get out of it. This is so good. It's so tasty. I mean, it couldn't be good if it wasn't tasty, could it? And the higher self is saying, no, wait, don't you want the vibrancy and the vitality and the longevity? Don't you want that supple skin and that olive complexion? And I'm describing myself. Don't you want that? And I say, yes, I do. So this is the fuel that you're going to give all your cells to get that, to have that energy, to have that vibrancy that you want for an extended period of time.
And you can't keep it unless you give it away. So what I also noticed, those people you want around, you want to talk with them. They seem to have brought some energy into a room that shifts it a little. So you know, you're not just doing this for yourself. You're doing this because even without people knowing, you're serving. You're helping them. You know, my mother would say, she's like, call me out of the, not out of the blue, yeah, like 2 PM, son. Yes, mom. When are you coming over today? I was there this morning. You were? So let's just say she was a little forgetful at times. But anyway, even if I wasn't there, I'd say that and she'd believe me. And I said, I would never stick to that story. I'd say, I'm only kidding. She's like, oh, I'm going to punch you. But anyway, she's like, okay, well, I always love when you come over. And, you know, it's just a better day when you come over. The dog's, the cat, dad, and myself. And I'm like, because I bring me there. I don't need to, oh, okay, what am I going into? Which Charlie do I need to bring to the table? The Charlie you see on this podcast, the Charlie you see over at my parents or in meetings or doing business is, I think, pretty much the same. I might get a little more fresh and naughty around family because we laugh a lot that I don't need to bring to here, but I am that I'm not, I don't need to be someone else. And I would go over and tease my mother and we'd have laughs, and I brought energy to the environment and passed it on to my parents. It felt good. And then I left, they both had a Klondike bar. Just kidding.
Yeah. So, you know, here again, it is creating those when you have that craving. So if you know that you're going to have a craving, you know that you're going to be at a place, you know, one of the things that you can do is you can eat a little bit before you go. If you know there's going to be unhealthy foods there, or two, you can create a meal or a snack that you can carry with you, and you can either share it or keep it in, you know, your little private stash and use that. And you don't have to negate what it is that you really want. And you don't have to make excuses to anyone for wanting to be healthy. There's no reason to have excuses for that. And I want to encourage you to swap out one or two of the elements that you're bringing into your body with an alternative. And we've talked about this before, and I'll talk about it again. We're not affiliated with Yucca, but I say that it's one of the greatest tools that I have on my phone, and it's free. You can go to your phone and get the app called Yucca, Yuka. Download that. And then once you download it and you create your account, start to scan the things that are in your pantry. Start to scan the things before you put them into your shopping cart. Know what it is that you're putting into your cart that's going to go into your body eventually, if not today, tomorrow, or the next day. And when you know that, would anybody ever put water in their gas tank because it was cheaper. No, you wouldn't, because otherwise you'd be stranded on the side of the road pretty quickly. Well, this is what you're doing when we put bad energy food into our bodies that are requiring a high octane output. And so swapping out some foods for something different, something healthy, leafy greens, get some leafy greens into your meals throughout the week, and make it fun, make it interesting. And that's interesting is amazing when you start to notice that energy levels that switch and your capacity to endure even more and without the aches and pains in your body.
And that's all well and good. And we have a brain that is, its job is to keep us safe. If our most practiced way of living is the way we're eating, the way we're doing, the way we're thinking, the way we're treating other people, treating ourselves, and I start to learn that there's neuroplasticity. So I say, oh, I'm going to change. And then I go to change. And it's like the first day is pretty good. It's like, I felt pretty good at it, and then day 2, it's like, why am I eating Life cereal again? Why is it that I have I don't know, in alcoholism, they have an obsession of the mind and a craving. Once the substance is put in the body, they've lost control and they drink more than they intended to. And who knows what's going to happen after that. But they do not crave it until it goes in their body. They have an obsession of the mind that is so powerful that it put drips of it on your tongue, like, and they think they're craving it, but it's physically, scientifically impossible to crave until the substance hits your body. And that might be true in this ultra processed world. I might just be having a moment during the day, a bad phone call, or I'm pissed off, I'm sluggish again, and I'm just gonna go and eat a bag of Doritos. Not a bag. I would never do that. It's too much licking of my fingers. But I'm gonna have a few. And this is me, and I would take some and bring it in, and then the fact that I had them in my house is embarrassing, but let's move over past that. And then I would do it, and I'd eat them. And you know what happened, Stanley? A craving kicked in beyond my mental control. Mm-hmm. Do you know what the robot vampire did? He marched right back out to that bag, and he grabbed another handful, and he said, "That's it. I am in control of this." I'd eat those unconsciously, and you know what happened? Once the mechanism stopped, my body said, more, more, more. And I said, and then that time I might have said, no, I just, didn't I tell myself I was going to stop after this batch? I did, but I wasn't thinking clear in that moment. I'm much more clear now. Let me go get the third batch. Right. So you're up against that. All of us. It doesn't mean you're a bad person because you have addiction. And you don't even have to call it that. You have a way of eating that seems to control you. You've lost the power. And we're here to help you bring that back, because a day at a time, stealing from AA. And here's a really good: half measures avail us nothing. So if you dabble with health, as in I eat, 50% healthy, 50% unhealthy, don't bother. Just stay unhealthy. It's like, are you ready to make a decision and a commitment? And if so, it only starts out simple. Just start collecting data, then start introducing water, then maybe introduce no eating past 7 p.m. before bed. And then over the time of 6 months, you'll be like, whoa.
Exactly. Every listener deserves to have an energized life. You deserve that. That is your birthright. It's been taken away from you because we bought into quick is easy, but quick is not easy. It's actually more work. What I want you to imagine is waking up with a steady energy that lasts all day long. No more afternoon crashes. I had a conversation this morning, and my client said, about noon, I get these crashes. It's like everything falls. We start to look at the foods that he's bringing in, and the way that he's sleeping, and also the media that he's getting in. Imagine if your cravings for sugar were eliminated. And when you have a craving for sugar, you also have some other things going on in your body, but you're not going to feel clear if you've got these cravings. If you've got this sugar dump, you're not going to feel motivated. But imagine if you could feel ready to take on anything that happens when it happens, because you've given your body the fuel that it needed. Fuels become the energy, and it stabilizes in our body. You're not going in this roller coaster up and down, up and down. And you begin to unlock all the vitality that's been hidden in the foods that you've not been eating. And that's what this is all about. Our intention is behind this energy vampires being food related, food motivated, is that challenge yourself to replace some of the foods with something different, something healthier, a different choice. Okay. Not just a better choice, but a different choice. And what is the outcome that you're desiring, and then monitor that. And here again, comment, let us know if you've done this eating right for 3 weeks and nothing is changing. Then you can go back. But I'm going to say, by the 3rd week, you're going to notice your body's going to detoxify. Energy levels are going to be different. You're going to have a brightness in your eyes. You're going to have an easier step. And as you fuel properly, you get the results even greater. So,
Stanley, I know in our programs, let's just say I hired you, and a month, 3 weeks in, we're reviewing, and you're like, listen, I have no problem refunding your misery, because that's what happens. And I would say to somebody, I 100% guarantee I will give you a 100% refund if you don't get results. I guarantee you will. Guarantee. I have no problem. If it's, let's say, $5,000, you follow the program of action, you are to thy own self be true, you're honest with me, and you haven't gotten results, then I'm going to give you your money back. I'm going to give you double what you paid me back. I'll give you 100 grand back, because I will never give you that money. And not because I'm not honest, because there's no way on earth that you will not improve if you follow. Now, if you take on, what happens is that we learn a little bit and we think we're doing the right thing. And some of it is, but nope, it isn't. And then we're not getting the results, so we give up. Well, Stanley and I guarantee results, but that's with somebody who makes a decision, a commitment, puts their flag in the ground, and uses a mentor or something to guide them. Going at it alone, I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah, and that's a good place to bring this to a close. I just want to encourage our listeners that, hey, you don't have to do this alone. Life was never intended to be alone. And having the encouragement, having the support, and the accountability is what makes the difference. It's not policing anybody. It's just encouraging you to take that next step. And that's how we make it across a room or up a mountain or on a journey, is putting one foot in front of the other, not worrying about the next 10 steps, but just considering that next step. And as we become aware of that next step, what does that entail? And it's not just eliminating everything, it's replacement, not removal. So I want to stress that. And here again, if there's something that you've enjoyed from this podcast, please make a comment, subscribe to this, share this with somebody that you love, that you care about, share this with your friends, your family, and continue to join us each week as we bring these messages for us, and as a reciprocating, they're for you, the audience, because we're implementing these these tools and these lessons in our own life. And the reason we can speak with authority on it is because we've been on the other side of the fence, both of us. So, nobody is born and stays on a perfect path. They get off, and then they get back on. They get guided back on, and that's what we're here to help you do. So, anything else on that, Charlie?
Well, yeah, like another hour worth of stuff is bubbling. But that's why we're going to do this weekly.
Yeah,
And, you say comment. I'd like to comment again on something. What I am eating could be eating me instead
right.
of traveling through my body and nurturing it as the waste goes in its way and the fuel goes its way. And the body will do all the work. You don't have to. That is just masterful. And treat your car bad, it starts to perform bad. Treat your lawn equipment bad, it starts to treat your people in your life bad. They start to say, bye-bye. This is what happens. So life best lived is life by design. And let's design a healthy one for you.